Welcome to Lviv in western Ukraine. This city is beautiful and it's full of life, and it's comparatively safe among Ukraine's largest cities because it's closer to Poland than it is to Kharkiv and the Russian Federation. I'm here in the town's main square, and yeah, there's some somber feelings here, you can obviously tell, but there's also just a lot of joie de vivre, you know. There's like generations of people, there's families, like, you know, people obviously were just having like a wedding photos here in the square. It's amazing here, and it actually is a little bit evocative of Krakow. Yeah, it's just the architecture here is amazing, and it's weird to think, I mean, as stable as this city in particular seems, that there is a war here in Europe, and it's kind of really like, I don't know, hitting home, I guess. There are these musicians here at the other end of the square that are incredible. I have no idea what the music is they're playing, but I absolutely love it. I've been standing and watching them for a while. I said I actually wasn't going to do any vlog today because I'm so exhausted, and I've been editing in my hotel all day, but I brought the GoPro out just in case, and I'm glad that I did. Like a free outdoor concert here. It's awesome, and these guys are so good. From how you might perceive of Ukraine in wartime, the streets here in Lviv are like incredibly bustling. I'm just walking down this promenade off the square, and it's like there's so much going on. There's so much street life. It's so vibrant. There's like kids, I don't know, karaokeing or something over here. Everything is just gorgeous despite all of the extenuating circumstances. The weather, the light, just everything. Hello.
Я пишаюсь воїнством своїм, українським хлопцям з-під Полтави, що стояв за
I gather these kids are singing some sort of patriotic anthem.
ворожу цю навалу, це для мене він зберіг весну, що ходив я з друзями до школи, і я бачу посмішку ясну.
There's some very cool looking monument here. Don't know exactly what this is. Wow. Whatever it is pretty cool. And check it out. I was thinking, I was like, wow, this would make a great skate spot. It's actually got skate stoppers on it. They've even got skate stoppers in Ukraine. Wow. Just imagine the possibilities that this is like a ledge plaza. Man, all the stonework is beautiful from a skateboarder's perspective. I've got no idea what this contraption is, but it's trundling through the old town. Oh, it's a super cute little tourist thing. Dobro ranku, or good morning from Lviv City Hall here in western Ukraine. And this morning, about a little after 6 a.m., I was woken up by air raid sirens, which is like something you'd seen on social media, but it's a really strange feeling to be here and that actually come to fruition. So according to just what I'm seeing on Twitter, nothing's really been reported in news outlets yet, as far as I can tell. But of course, by the time I upload this on YouTube, maybe it'll be all over the news. Who knows? That may depend on how much wattage of the media ecosystem the Israel-Gaza war and Hezbollah in Lebanon takes up. But supposedly there is a major Russian cruise missile and drone attack, including fighter bombers flying overhead all over Ukraine, basically, from what I can tell, almost everywhere but here. One thing about Lviv, which feels very much kind of like Krakow in Poland, like culturally, architecturally and stuff, is that we are only a mere 95 kilometers from the Polish border, and what I calculated just using Google Maps, we are about 805 kilometers from the closest human settlement in Gdansk Oblast in southwestern Russia. So maybe safety is an illusion. Of course, cruise missiles and Iranian-made Shahed drones, which are being used by Russia, they can reach, really, really long distances. But it feels kind of safe here. I mean, I woke up at my hotel at dawn by the siren, and I met the owner, who's super sweet, and he just told me to go sit in the basement for a while until basically the alarms abated. I saw a couple of tweets saying that there were Shahed drones, which are basically kamikaze drones. They are made out of plastic. They're really hard to detect by radar, and they are tipped with a terribly explosive warhead. And they are used usually to hit fixed targets, i.e. buildings. They're not like the kind of drones that can follow a moving car or much less a human being or something like that. But yeah, basically, and the mood here, it's 2 days after the Independence Day celebrations, which were Saturday, and definitely feels a more tepid kind of vibe. I mean, people are going about their business. The city still seems to still be functioning, but they're not a ton of people on the streets compared to, say, this time yesterday. So anyway, just want to give that quick update. I just made a really, really difficult, like a painfully difficult decision, and this is more probably open than I am normally on this channel, because I try and keep it sort of like upbeat and informative. But this morning I woke up here in Lviv and I bought a train ticket to Kyiv, which was going to be like, I don't know, 6 or 7 hours or whatever, and it was only like $17 for the ticket. I bought it on the Ukraine Railways app. And basically, to be honest, I went on Twitter and I went on the BBC, and I was looking at all the hotels that were hit, and there were hotels that were hit, none in Kyiv specifically, but like 4 hotels were bombed overnight. And this one, the Kyiv correspondent for the BBC, he like tweeted that his team had stayed in all of these hotels like over the last year or whatever. And then I was watching another guy who's I think he's Australian, who's based in Kyiv, and he was on the BBC talking about how the blackouts are going to be getting worse, and they're expecting more Russian attacks and this and that. And I ended up, I feel really bad to say this, but I ended up canceling my train ticket to Kyiv, and I actually bought a Flixbus ticket, which is like this German bus company, which even operates back home in New York City. I bought a ticket back to Krakow/Kraków in Poland, and I really didn't want to do this, but I also was thinking to myself, like, do I really need to put myself through this? I mean, I came here sort of with the intention of covering the war. I don't have any press accreditation. I don't have from the Ministry of Defense here, and supposedly that takes 3 weeks. And sorry, I'm going on a bit of a rant, but yeah, so I just kind of been doing a lot of hard thinking, and I think I'm just gonna head back to the EU, and I've had a wonderful like 3-4 days here in Lviv. I absolutely love the city. If this war were to finally come to an end, I think I would stay here for like a month. I want to give a shout out to the hotel where I've been staying. It's called the Vintage Boutique Hotel, and these may be war prices, but it's like less than $50 a night, and it's this place is absolutely excellent. And they even have this adorable table and chair out on the sidewalk, and you can kind of just sit and like people watch here in like right smack in the middle of Old Town, and the city hall is like just up the hill. So yeah, so I'm going to get some food and some water, and I'm gonna catch grab a Bolt taxi to the bus station. Another thing that was telling that I just want to mention is that when I was canceling with a deep reluctance the train ticket to Kyiv, I was looking at the train tickets back to Przemysl, that unpronounceable town on the Polish border, and there were no train tickets for the next like 5 days or something. And I'm like, well, is that sort of a cue? Is that a tell? Like, are people who have the means, who maybe have Schengen visas or whatever, are people getting the hell out of here? I don't know. But and also the Flixbus ticket was like 110 American dollars to leave today, and that's probably because the trains are sold out. So, and the bus pricing probably runs on an algorithm. So I am going to do a quick like Fabled City install. I don't know if you guys, if you're watching my channel, if you watch my shorts, I do these like art installations with my photography all over New York City and whatever other major cities I'm at in the world. So gonna do this real quick, like I said, get some food, get some water, and I'm gonna go to the bus station. And I just need to reiterate that I really, really like this city. I could easily see falling in love with Lviv. It's got the like Austro-Hungarian sort of architectural vibe of Krakow, but obviously there are no tourists here for a very sad reason, due to intractable Russian belligerence. But yeah, I mean, just like check out some of the architecture of this town. You can see like how like the stained glass windows of all the churches are all boarded up, just in case like a bombardment hits, like if a missile drops, or if there's like an Iranian kamikaze drone that hits somewhere in the area. It's funny, just the psychology of war, and also, like for me personally, just the legacy of different traumas over the years. Now I'm like thinking like, okay, so I've secured a bus ticket back to the relative safety of the definitive safety of the EU. And now I'm like, I've kind of calmed down a little bit since I made that decision. And now I'm thinking like, wait a minute, did I act too hastily? But no, I have to I gotta go with my gut. And here, this looks to be a recruitment poster for the Ukrainian military, even replete with a QR code. So one of the issues here is also part of the because of the discrepancies in the population. You know, Ukraine has like a pre-war population of around something like 44 million, and the Russian Federation, before its war of attrition and all the supposedly hundreds of thousands of soldiers who've been killed in the Donbass and Kharkiv, Russia's like something like, I don't know, 150 million, 160 million, who knows. I mean, Russia's population has been like declining since communism ended, basically, due to alcoholism and war and a whole bunch of other factors, and just, but yeah, I mean, it's like one of the things here is that Ukraine may not have enough men and women to keep fighting this battle, and Russia, I think Putin is hoping that because of the sheer size of the Russian Federation's population, plus the, you know, the idea of you know, using like Wagner, like private military companies, I hate that term, mercenaries, that Russia can kind of buy its way out of this, and basically in a almost like a czarist sense, that Russia can just throw human waves at the Ukrainian front lines and it'll eventually break them. And I think, you know, in Donetsk Oblast, in the Donbass, I think in some cases that's true. I actually was just reading on the New Voice of Ukraine site this morning that actually was recently the case, that another town just actually fell to the Russians just because of the amount of artillery and human lives they're willing to waste for this Putinist conquest. I found this really cool vegan cafe just via Google the other night, and I'm gonna get some food here to go, and hopefully they make it kind of quick. Maybe even I might just even eat it on the bus, kind of as rude as that is. But this place is really good. This wall outside the cafe looks as good as any. I'm gonna do a little install. It actually looks like, this wall actually looks like it's about to break down. So hopefully nobody will be too mad about a little disposable street art. So I finished my quick little install by the cafe. I did just a print of modern Baghdad and ancient Lebanon and Baalbek. And now I'm gonna grab my food back at the cafe, and I gotta kind of, and then go to the hotel, get my bags, and take a cab to the bus station. Something I wanted to mention that makes Lviv so incredibly walkable, and more so actually than Krakow, is when you cross the crosswalk here, people just organically stop out of, I don't know, politeness or following the law or a mix of the two. But yeah, it's really cool. Whereas in Poland, I noticed people were like, they're, you know, guys who had like souped up BMWs and stuff that were like blasting down the streets with intakes and exhausts and all that kind of American style stuff. And here it's got more this like old school kind of, I don't know, like charm, and at least when it comes to navigating the traffic as a pedestrian. Also, like this part of the old city where the hotel is, it is pretty much purely a pedestrian zone, unless you're doing deliveries or you're like working on a building or something. I mean, there are some like work vans here and stuff, but yeah, it's just it's one thing that makes this war such a damn shame, is it's just so lovely to walk around Lviv. One error I'm definitely not trying to make is I'm not getting on a 9-hour bus ride without a gigantic bottle of water. It's not cold, obviously, because we're in Europe, but I need to stay hydrated. I'm at the bus station here in Lviv, and I'm nervous and confused. I got here 10 minutes late in the Bolt taxi. Couldn't find any way. The driver's like, see if you can call the bus driver. I'm like, there's no way to call the bus driver. There's no way to call the bus station. I get here. There was one Flixbus, which is this German brand, but it was going to Vienna. I asked the guys, I was like, where's the Krakow bus? They just wouldn't, they were really rude, they wouldn't answer. So then I went in the station here, and I talked to this lady who was running like a ticket counter. And actually there was a Ukrainian soldier who actually spoke English, who was like buying a bus ticket from her. And he's like, let me translate for you. And he told me that she told him that the bus is running super late and that I just need to just wait out here. She did make some sort of a phone call, I don't know if she called Flixbus or the driver, I don't know, but there's definitely no sign of a Flixbus. And now I'm thinking I need to go back in this station and talk to the lady again, but without the help of the nice guy translating from Ukrainian to English. Ooh, this is one of those travel days. Okay, so that was an utter travel disaster. I was speaking to this nice Ukrainian lady who spoke German. Not that I really speak German, but I could mess around with it. And she was waiting for an overnight bus, and then she told me, she goes, why don't you go to the railway station and just see if there's a bus or a train there. And yeah, otherwise, worst case scenario, I go back to the hotel, stay tonight, and then try and get a bus tomorrow or something. So I ended up coming back to the hotel when I couldn't sort out the Flixbus situation. And so I took a Bolt taxi back to the Lviv city center, and when I was in the taxi, I went back on the railway app, and a train seat popped up to the Polish border at 3 o'clock in the morning. Like 2 seats popped up when there were none earlier. So I jumped on it, and it was about $17-18 US. So I checked back into the hotel, and these people are so wonderful that they only charged me half a night because I'm only going to stay here till like midnight or thereabouts. Okay guys, so for the second time today, I am trying to leave Lviv back to Poland and the European Union, and I am walking vaguely in the direction of the train station. So the receptionist, Sophia, at the hotel, who was absolutely so dear and trying to help me so much, she told me that there was actually some sort of taxi curfew, or maybe just a all-around curfew. Her English was pretty darn good, but it wasn't 1000% perfect. But yeah, so she's like, if you don't get a taxi, like a Bolt taxi or whatever, by 11:30, if you're not in a taxi by 11:30, all cars are supposed to be off the street. But it looks like people are supposed to be off the street too. And I don't know if this curfew was already in place or if it is specifically related to the Russian attacks of the last 48 hours. So here I'm walking by Lviv City Hall, which is where I started my my 4 days here. And I just, the other day I was doing like a city walk, and I saw a sign that said that the main railway station was basically just down this huge hill. So in total, it's 3.3 kilometers from where I'm staying or was staying. But it is, I mean, it's eerie. Like there's nobody out. There was a couple of teenagers leaving a bar, and that's pretty much it. So I am walking in the general direction of the Opera House and the old main square, as it's known, and taking one last look by these boarded up churches. Now I have my train is supposed to leave at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I think it's going to take me, I don't know how this is all going to work, because I don't have a train ticket or schedule for the Polish side. But I figure I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. The main thing is just trying to get to the border. So yeah, it's definitely kind of a strange feeling walking around here. And then on the other hand, it's also a super, super beautiful summer night. And the weather is just gorgeous despite the war. It's like the perfect temperature right now, and I'm walking with my incredibly heavy bags. So I know you won't be able to see me on YouTube, but I'm walking down this block and the power just totally cut out. So the only thing you can see are signs that are lit up, I'm guessing by LED battery operated type stuff, or like maybe like rechargeable LED type stuff. Man, I'm not gonna lie, this is definitely eerie walking to the train station after curfew, and it's a good, good couple of kilometers. But I'm gonna power through and make it happen. If it's not possible to get a taxi, you gotta use the old heel toe express. I mean, this won't show up on film, but basically the only thing on this street are the traffic lights. Man, this is weird. I do kind of love that in the middle of this full blackout, the street sweeper, I don't know if you get the street sweeper is still going, so they're still keeping the city clean. Despite the war, Lviv is a pretty darn tidy city. You don't even see like cigarette butts on the sidewalk, really. I'm about probably halfway to the train station, I'm guessing. I'm approaching a big fork here, and I remember on Google it said to go left, so I'm just kind of running with it. I'm taking a break at a bus shelter. I got about less than 1.5 kilometers to go. I just got caught on this uphill area, and it's it's steep, and my bags are super heavy. So I'm just chilling for a second. It's so eerily quiet here, but I almost wonder if it's somehow safer from drones with the city being blacked out. I mean the drones I'm sure have infrared on them, but still, maybe it's actually better in terms of safety. You know, if Russia sends drones flying over Lviv, maybe it's better that no one's walking around and the streets are blacked out. I don't know. Well, thankfully, I have the railway station in view way up ahead. It's hundreds of meters ahead, but still, I'm just actually relieved that the streetlights around the railway station are on, because hopefully that means that the train is working and the train is running and all that kind of stuff. So I see there's a couple walking ahead of me. Maybe they're catching the same 3 a.m. train. Made it about 3.5K or so walk with way too much stuff. I am finally here at the Lviv railway station. I don't think I've ever been so glad to be in a train station in my entire adult life. I'm here way early. I'm here like almost 2 hours early. Okay, let's see. Here's the board. Okay, let's see. I'm here so early it doesn't even have the train listed yet. Okay, I got a ping on the Ukraine Railways app while I was sitting outside cooling off from the walk that the train is coming into platform 3. And it's actually nice and cool in this interior hallway. So yeah, the train's not coming for well over an hour, but I just want to make sure I'm in the right place. I just have absolutely no room for error on this exit. I think the only reason that I got this train ticket at 3 o'clock in the morning, because the trains, like I may have said earlier in this vlog, the trains were sold out for like 5 days, I think because of the Russian attack, I kind of suspect. And sorry, I'm just watching the train up here. And I think the only reason that I got this ticket is somebody must have canceled, because the entire rest of the train was, all the seats were blocked out. It's an anxious wait here on the platform. The train is supposed to arrive, I think it's coming from Kyiv, in about 7-8 minutes or so. So basically just need that train to show up and have no mistakes. After my bus debacle today, I'm a little on edge. I'm also extremely tired, and I was trying so hard. I was sitting in this dark hallway downstairs, and I was just trying not to fall asleep, just not to have a mistake. At long last, I think our train is here. Yes, this is the train. This is it. Oh, happy days are here again. Well, I really should save an expression like that for when I'm actually sitting down inside the car. It's like you wait so damn long for the train to get here, and then when it does, there's this frenetic scurrying of everyone trying to figure out where they are. And I was confusing the class numbers, like first and second class, for the car number. And I'm in car number 8, and I saw all the trains were saying 1 and 2. Okay, this looks like where people are getting on. I bought a first class ticket, that was all that was available.
Нумерація вагонів починається з західної сторони. Вокзалу випуск пасажирів проводиться через тунелі. Ласкаво просимо в наше місто. Потім Інтерсіті Плюс номер 70, номер 70,
Okay, for some reason the train guy asked to see my passport. Now I have to find my seat. Of course I don't see where the seat numbers are. Okay, so now we're back sort of where we started in the other Crossing Borders episode. We are in Przemyśl, Główny, but on the other side of customs and immigration. So now there is going to be a gigantic queue, and I assume that we're going to be here for a couple of hours. Well, so this part of the journey is done. I am officially back in Poland and the European Union, and I still have a lot more questions because I don't have an onward train ticket. And on the there was like a little departure board in customs, and I didn't see anything to Krakow, but there's actually a train all the way to Berlin, and there was also one all the way to Prague. So yeah, I don't know how the rest of this day is going to work, but I'm glad that I've gotten this much accomplished.